While the Prime Minister chairs a meeting on oxygen availability in anticipation of a possible third wave, pictures of crowds from hill stations go viral. The Health Ministry warns against flouting COVID norms. But the Kanwar Yatra, where thousands travel and live together for days, may be allowed to go ahead after the UP Chief Minister asked Uttarakhand to rethink its order banning this yatra this year because of COVID. The R number, which tells us how many people one infected person can spread the virus to, is rising again, touches 0.92. The danger mark is 1.0. This even as vaccination rates are going slow and shortages are being reported in several states. Currently, India is 7 months behind our target. A setback for the centre on new IT rules. The Kerala High Court says no coercive action on broadcasters for now, while the Supreme Court refuses to stop High Courts from hearing petitions. The monsoon deficit increases to 6% with an 18% deficit in North India, 7% in Central India. The capital is expected to get rain by the weekend. And a special report from Maharashtra, where over 25,000 children are impacted due to the digital divide and have lost out on an education. Hello and welcome to NDTV. Disquieting visuals from the past few days of large crowds at popular holiday and tourist destinations is setting off alarm bells. There's a worrying drop in vaccination rates across India. These visuals come at a time where we're seeing a worrying drop in vaccination rates across India. India is facing an overall 54% vaccination shortfall.
Crowds in Shimla. Exactly the sort of scenes the Prime Minister says should strike fear.
कई फोटोज और कई वीडियोस हमने देखे हैं जिसमें कई जगहों पर भीड़ की स्थिति बनी हुई है, 2 गज की दूरी का पालन नहीं हो रहा है और लोग बिना मास्क के घूम रहे हैं। उन्होंने कहा था कि यह एक बहुत ही दुखद परिस्थिति हो सकती है और हमारे अंदर इस विषय में भय की भावना पैदा होनी चाहिए। इस टाइप का कोई भी बिहेवियर, इज इट नॉट एन ओपन इन्विटेशन फॉर वायरस टू इन्फेक्ट अस?
Officials call this an invitation for the virus to spread. But after this video of Mussoories Kempty Falls went viral, the number of visitors was limited to 50 per half an hour. However, crowds continue elsewhere. Here in Himachal Pradesh, no restrictions have been imposed despite continuous arrival of tourists.
कि हमने करीब 5 करोड़ से ऊपर फाइन मास्क का किया है। ये एडवाइजरी या क्वेश्चनरी है, तो इसके द्वारा हम ये कहना चाहते हैं अगर आप नहीं करोगे तो आपका फाइन भी हो सकता है।
Now even tourists who are coming to Himachal are acknowledging that with huge influx, it's time some restrictions should be imposed.
सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग और मास्क के अलावा कोई विकल्प नहीं है और अगर वैक्सीनेशन करा लें तो अच्छा है।
The state government has allowed tourists in without a COVID negative report. Tourism is a big revenue source.
पर्यटक जो जितने भी आ रहे हैं बाहर से, क्या पता कोई संक्रमित पर्यटक बाहर से ना आए। कि ये जो आपने कोविड के टेस्ट की जो बात करी, ये जो पिछले काफ़ी समय से चल रहा था, ये तो आउट ऑफ स्टेट जितने भी टूरिस्ट हमारे आ रहे हैं होना चाहिए मेरे ख्याल से।
The tourism and hospitality sector in Himachal Pradesh has taken a severe hit in the months of lockdown, but with increasing footfall of tourists in the state, the government will have to impose certain restrictions. With VD Sharma in Shimla, Mohammad Ghazali for NDTV.
But even as the central government warned careless tourists from against overcrowding, the Uttarakhand government is now rethinking its decision to ban the Kanwar Yatra, supposed to begin from the 25th of July after the UP Chief Minister Adityanath himself spoke with the Chief Minister Dhami of Uttarakhand. Akshay Dongre reports.
On one hand, the centre is warning against crowds and the third wave. On the other, the Uttarakhand government is considering lifting the ban on Kanwar Yatra in Haridwar. This follows UP's Chief Minister Adityanath asking his counterpart to allow the pilgrimage in which lakhs of people crisscross the northern states. He has in fact already announced that it will start on 25th of July.
जो कांवड़ यात्रा है, कांवड़ यात्रा चूंकि अनेकों राज्यों का उसमें जो है एक साथ होता है कि एक राज्य की यात्रा नहीं है, उसमें उत्तर प्रदेश का भी मामला है, हरियाणा का भी है और दिल्ली की भी है, तो हम उन राज्यों से भी बात करने वाले हैं। उसके बाद जो भी निर्णय होगा उसको निर्णय करेंगे।
Ironically, crowds at the Euro matches was linked to a spurt in UK's cases at the centre's health briefing today.
यूनाइटेड किंगडम में जब वहां पर यूरो 2020 फुटबॉल मैचेस हुए, उस समय पर पाया गया कि सडनली केसेस में एक वृद्धि नोट की गई।
Yet, when asked about the Kanwar Yatra, they said events can be held as long as these are COVID safe.
गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया की तरफ से, यूनियन मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ हेल्थ की तरफ से जो गाइडलाइन दी जाती हैं, वह किसी विशेष वर्ग के लिए ना होते हुए एक क्लैरिटी होती है कि किस प्रोसेस को फॉलो करके हमें रिलैक्सेशन दी जानी चाहिए। जरूरी यह है कि जब हम कोई भी कार्य करें, इज इट गोइंग टू बी डन इन ए कोविड सेफ मैनर इज गोइंग टू बी द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट टास्क।
The Kumbh Mela saw an estimated 3 to 4 million people on the days of Shahi Snan travelling to Haridwar and back. This, along with election campaigns and festival, coincided with the rise in cases from about 25 to 30,000 in mid-March to over 2 lakh a day by mid-April. Both Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh have legislative elections next year, and that exactly is the reason that cancelling Kanwar Yatra this year again can dent BJP's core vote base. But the question is whether politics is taking precedence over saving life once again like it happened during Mahakumbh. With camera person Ashok Mahale and colleague Saurabh Shukla, I'm Akshay Dongre for NDTV.
But the most worrying development, a key factor epidemiologists track, the R number has touched 0.92. The danger mark is 1. The reproduction factor, or the R factor, is a measure of the coronavirus's ability to spread, and R is the number of people that one infected person can infect. So above 1, it means cases will increase if no preventive measures are taken right now. The R factor had begun to drop sharply before India's COVID peak. The last time it was 0.92 was just a few days before COVID cases started rising and then snowballed into the second wave. In February, though, the ascent was slower. This time, the key factor is now seeing a spike, and that is a worrying sign. And the biggest defense against a third wave is to vaccinate people faster. The more people we vaccinate, the safer we are. But if you take a look at the numbers, India is woefully behind our target when it comes to vaccinations. We're 7 months behind our targets. We need to vaccinate 60% of Indians by December 2021. But at this rate, we'll only hit 60% maybe by July 2022. As per the projection based on current vaccination rates during the last 7 days, only 30% of India will be vaccinated by this December. And COVID numbers may be falling across the country, but in the northeastern states, they are proving to be an exception. Of 73 districts nationwide that still have a positivity rate of 10%, 47 or 64% are in the 8 states of the northeast. This includes Sikkim, and the Health Ministry's data for the week beginning the 29th of June is alarming. At least 4 out of the 8 states have a higher case fatality rate than the national average, and the rate of vaccinations in some of these states is dismal. Ratnadeep Chaudhary reports from Guwahati on why the second wave of COVID is refusing to ebb in this region.
Even now, the second wave is not over for the northeast. Another important challenge is that because it is mountainous region, the villages and towns are spread out far, so ensuring that proper ambulance tie-up and timely shifting of patient to that extent will become a critical element. Focusing on timely testing will become a critical element.
The news for the Northeast is not good. 1 out of every 10 COVID-19 samples tested is turning out to be positive at a time when numbers are falling across the country. And that's not all. 18 districts in Arunachal Pradesh have 10% plus positivity. So also 9 districts in Manipur, 6 in Meghalaya and 2 in Assam. 4 northeastern states have a higher case fatality rate than the national average of 1.32. Even deaths per million is higher in 2 northeastern states compared to the national average of 293. Manipur says 398. Sikkim is a whopping 451. From this week, Golaghat and 6 other districts of Assam are in total lockdown. It's the first time the state has imposed a total lockdown in the second wave.
There was no complete lockdown except some restrictions. We think that is one of the cause of not going down COVID numbers. And another reason behind this, because the new strain is highly infectious. This time more rural areas and remote areas are infected.
On the vaccination front, Tripura and Sikkim have done well, administering dose 1 in the 45 plus category to 99 and 90% respectively. The national average is 46. The two states are also best performers in the 45 plus second dose category in the northeast. But the figures for other 6 states is dismal. Worst performers Manipur, Nagaland, Meghalaya and Assam. Their numbers in single digits against a national average of 57%. The number of fully vaccinated healthcare workers is wanting. So is vaccination for other frontline workers.
I have right now a patient of brain tumor from Meghalaya which is just 3.5 months old and who is COVID positive. So it is affecting all age groups from old to thick. So we need to actually worry, because are we really getting a third wave in Northeast, or the second wave will merge into the third wave of the country?
Some tough measures are being put in place. Only fully vaccinated people can enter Arunachal Pradesh. Assam has set up teams in every major town to enforce COVID restrictions. The Delta variant is also prevalent in the region. On top of it, you have low vaccination coverage, and therefore authorities are now trying to act up. But it seems a new strategy will be required to see how the government can check the spread of the virus and get the number of cases in the region climb down. In Guwahati, Ratndeep Chaudhary for NDTV.
Meanwhile, Kerala, that's seeing an increase in COVID cases, is now also reporting cases of the Zika virus that spread through mosquitoes. 14 cases of the Zika virus have been confirmed in Kerala. The first case was of a 24-year-old pregnant woman. A 6-member team has now been sent to Kerala to help the state handle Zika virus cases. Symptoms of the Zika virus infection are fever, skin rashes and even conjunctivitis.
അങ്ങനെ 19 സാമ്പിളുകൾ പൂനെ NIVയിലേക്ക് അയച്ചിരുന്നു. ഇന്നലെ രാത്രിയോടുകൂടി നമുക്ക് സ്ഥിരീകരണം ലഭിച്ചത് അതിൽ 13 സാമ്പിൾസ് പോസിറ്റീവ് ആണ് എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഹെൽത്ത് വർക്കേഴ്സ് ഉൾപ്പെടുന്ന 13 സാമ്പിൾ പ്ലസ് ഗർഭിണിയായിട്ടുള്ള യുവതിയുടെ സാമ്പിൾ